Gauteng management has assured all delegates and visitors attending the G20 Leaders Summit that those using their trains can expect a seamless and smooth experience. The summit is just hours, really, from kicking off from tomorrow. This highly anticipated first-of-its-kind monumental conference on the continent will bring together heads of states to discuss economic, social and political initiatives that are aimed at driving change. Let's bring you this leg of our coverage. SABC News reporter Mbalenhle Mthethwa is trying to keep up with these bullet trains, and she joins us now live. Take us through, I suppose, your experience since you've arrived there, given, I imagine, Mbalenhle, just how many people will be relying on that service.
Well, Ayanda, it is true. There has been an uptick in terms of the number of people using the Gautrain this morning. However, it's not the usual Sandton to Pretoria or Parktown to Pretoria. It's actually more people from the airport using the train going all the way to Sandton. This would then suggest that the Gautrain has become quite instrumental in terms of assisting international delegates that are arriving here in South Africa and are now using this rather ahead of the G20 Summit. And right now I'm joined by the spokesperson, Albie Modise, who's going to just give us a sense of what has happened. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. You have explained to us that you are seeing an uptick in the number of people using your services. Can you just give us a better explanation?
Look, I mean, we expect that as the G20 kicks off tomorrow, we will see an influx of tourists into the province of Gauteng. As delegates arrive at OR Tambo International Airport, we have seen from yesterday an upsurge in terms of the use of the service compared to the past 4 days prior to that. And that begins to give us a sense of the arrival of delegates is going to have a bearing in terms of the demand on the system. We stand ready to ensure that in keeping with our commitments to the province to say we will remain the mobility of choice when it comes to all key events in the province, whether young people are going to music concerts or the parents and anyone who likes sports are going to sports stadiums, or those who have an affinity for the development on the G20 scale of issues would also get to benefit from this particular system. So the system is ready and is available to ensure that as we welcome delegates, we take them to areas of their choice, whether it's to Pretoria and Hatfield where we are, or to Sandton or Rosebank. We will continue to operate the service and ensure that in keeping with when we started this service in 2010, on the eve of the 2010 Soccer World Cup, we disrupted the public transport system in South Africa. We introduced a service unheard of, unseen of in the continent, in the country. And 15 years later, we continue to make waves and ensure that in keeping with our commitment to the customers to make sure that safety is central to the work we do, punctuality remains core to the service we deliver, but also swiftness from one destination to the other continues to be central to the service that we continue to offer to our customers. So we stand ready and we are available to ensure that all of that happens.
Well, swiftness on time is very important, but what about capacity? I mean, do you believe that you will have enough trains to assist, to really ferry all the delegates that are coming, but also not only those, the ones that are going to be using it as ordinary South Africans because of the major road closures?
Mbalenhle, we were born for this. We were born specifically to ensure that we firstly reduce the congestions on our roads. Gauteng is the smallest of all of the 9 provinces, the most populous, unfortunately. And to move people from one end to the other, a mode like the Gautrain is central. So we never forget that reason. Of course, the other issues around cutting the carbon footprint are very important as the G20 starts, because the issues of climate change are going to be important. But let's also remember that as we continue to run the service, we are able to track the number of people that use the system, and as the demand increases, we then are able to see how we make interventions to ensure that the interventions are aligned with the demand. So we're a system that understands that the modern day customer and passenger the changes that have happened in terms of post-COVID life have actually necessitated that they move at different times, and hence the products we've introduced as well are aligned to ensuring that we are able to respond to the demands at different times, because the demands in terms of the system have moved and have changed over time, and we are aligned to that particular reality.
Okay. Now, we know that there are all sorts of safety and security measures that have been put in place. Even if you walk outside of here, there's law enforcement all around. What have you done in order to augment some of the security measures that might be necessary in order to ensure the safety of those international delegates, but not only them, ordinary South Africans?
You're right. I mean, when you go out of the station, you'll see law enforcement officers scattered across the different sections of the city. We, as a Gautrain, it's a standard practice. So customers that use the system will tell you safety and security is central to the service that we offer. And the reason why customers keep coming back to this particular system is purely because they know that when they are on the Gautrain, our security apparatus are able to pick up and detect any particular worrisome development, right? So, but also outside of the use of the system and technology, the deployment of security officials at the different stations has been central to the success of the Gautrain. And in doing that, it gives the customer that sense of relief and satisfaction to continue doing the things they like doing while the train takes them to the next destination, knowing that safety and security is core to the service that we deliver.
Will you consider perhaps augmenting your security measures or getting more security personnel in the vehicle, rather in the trains?
Look, we haven't seen any particular worrisome development that necessitates that. But of course, as an organization and as an entity that always studies movements of people and all of those things, it's going to be an important consideration if there is such a need at any point. But at this point, there hasn't been any development that would see us having to move towards that direction. But however, we require an agile institution that understands and that also notices those patterns and developments. And if there's any particular need for that intervention, of course, we'll activate it.
And now, do you foresee any special individuals who are going to be participating in the G20 using the Gautrain, given that the airport has cordoned off commercial flights from the arrival of the international delegates? Have you considered doing something similar, maybe?
No, not really. I mean, we run a normal service. Of course, with the G20 in town, it means that some of our like-minded countries and our friends from the G20 countries, some of them want to see what we do in South Africa. We're hosting a top-level delegation today, of course, at our Midrand depot, and that particular delegation is part of the work that we do in terms of exchanging information with like-minded countries. So that's actually the work that we do. But outside of that, we continue to run the service.
There you have it. That is Albie Modise, spokesperson for the Gautrain, just speaking to us about some of the contingency plans that they have put in place, ascertaining or rather assuring passengers that they will be arriving on time and that they will be providing a safe service to all those who are going to be using their trains. But what is quite important is that it would seem as though international delegates arriving for the G20 trust the service of the Gautrain, and it has seemingly been quite instrumental in terms of ferrying some of those who are going to be needing a mode of transport in order to make it to their various destinations. Traffic is somewhat normal at the moment, and it would seem as though some have stayed at home, working from home, given the fact that there are going to be those road closures affecting roads such as the R21 in the city of Ekurhuleni, the N1, as well as the M1 and the M2, and a few other roads, the N3 as well, cutting across Johannesburg as well as the city of Ekurhuleni, and some roads, major roads also in Pretoria. So these are the roads that are actually affected affected, and there are some alternatives that have been provided for those who are in Johannesburg as well as in the city of Ekurhuleni. In the city of Ekurhuleni, we've seen the R51 being used as an alternative to the R21, as well as in the Sandton area. We've also seen some other roads also being used as alternatives for motorists who do plan to move. But Gautrain saying that they are also ready for those who are going to park their cars and use the Gautrain services because of those road closures. For now, it is back to you in studio.
Mbalenhle Mthethwa, thanks very much indeed. This is such an important part of the G20 story, seamless mobility in and around Gauteng. And that's why, of course, we'll be reminding you of these road closures throughout the course of our broadcast. Many people, it seems, working from home, but not us. No complaints, dare I add.